From the station that made country music famous, 650 AM WSM, this is a Coffee, Country, and Cody podcast. Hey, it's Charlie Matos, and welcome to our Coffee, Country, and Cody podcast. In this episode, we Zoom with Jason Coleman, wonderful pianist and the grandson of Country Music Hall of Famer Floyd Kramer. Jason would be starting a new show on WSM Radio on Sunday night, simply titled The Jason Coleman Show. He'd have some great stories to tell, and we would preview that debut episode. Enjoy our Coffee, Country, and Cody podcast with Jason Coleman.
From WSM Radio, this is Coffee, Country, and Cody.
Hank Lachlan made it famous as a vocal. That's Jason Coleman this morning. Please help me, I'm falling on 650 AM WSM, the Jason Coleman Show. Hey, welcome to the family. Sunday night, 8 o'clock, he premieres on WSM Radio. Kelly?
Oh, you know what, Jason? We're so happy to have you a part of what we're doing here. And this is such an amazing opportunity because we're bridging the gap between your grandfather and everybody now that's listening in the audience, making sure that they are familiar with what he did and his legacy and what you're continuing to do. When was the first time you realized Granddad wasn't just Granddad?
Yeah, for me, and I'm so excited to get to be a part of this WSM family here coming up starting Sunday night. But for me, I was just 12 when he passed away. And so up until that time, you know, he wasn't Floyd Kramer. He was just Granddad, you know, when I was a kid. And that was most important, I think, as a kid to have those memories. But it really was as I began to get older. And really the two big moments that really solidified it were when he was inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame. That was when I was, I guess, 18 or so. But even before that, a few months prior, and I heard you talking about it just a little while ago, he was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, even first, which was just mind-blowing to think what an impact he had, not just on country, which you think of him as, but also on all these, you know, Elvis and Roy Orbison and all the Brenda Lee, all the great sort of rock and pop songs too. So it really has been neat for me. And even now, as I mean, you know, listen to his music all my life, I still find new things and new songs and new discoveries that he was a part of. So it's just amazing to me to get to share that now.
And there was a trio, or was it a quartet? I'm trying to remember. I knew Boots Randolph and Chet and your granddad, Floyd Kramer. Was there a fourth, or was it the three of them who toured famously together?
It was mainly the three of them. The Masters Festival of Music. The three that was about as good as it got on guitar, on the sax, and they're on the piano. They toured for a long time. And it's been neat for me as I get out and perform myself to hear people who went to those concerts and have memories, and they'll tell you the exact day and where they were when they saw the three of them. So, yeah, pretty spectacular.
Well, the pandemic, if you don't mind me saying so, was very, very good to you. It gave you an opportunity to get creative in a way you never dreamed possible, and you were a hit, mister, and it's kind of brought you to where you are with your show on WSM premiering Sunday night at 8 o'clock.
Absolutely. These last 2 years have been so challenging for so many people in so many ways, but I always believe there's a silver lining to be found in any situation, and that silver lining for me was I had the chance to sit at home and just play piano and make music more than I really ever have. Spent a lot of time at home, as we all did. But while I was at home, while all of my, you know, in-person touring, which is normally what I've done the last decade or so of my life, was all shut down, I started, like a lot of people did in the very beginning, almost 2 years ago of the pandemic, hopped on Facebook Live and played some songs. And I did it on a Sunday afternoon, and then did it the next week and the next week and the next week. And it has turned into something that we call, it's a very creative title, The Jason Coleman Show, but it turned into...
Well, that's what you come up with after extensive and exhaustive research, you know. That's what the focus group will tell you.
The focus group came back. Yeah, that's right. But we started it, and I've been performing these concerts now online for the last 2 years. We're up to almost 70 episodes that I've been premiering on Facebook and on YouTube. And over that time, have found just a new, we call it our piano family online. As I'm playing each week, I play these songs from my piano in my living room, and each week sort of covers a different theme or a different era or spotlights a different artist that I play in the slip note piano style of my granddad. And so now for me to get to bring these shows, not just online, but now to WSM, to radio, I just couldn't think of a better fit for these classic songs that I get to bring new life to. So it's just going to be really exciting on Sunday nights to get to share this music over the airwaves.
You know, when you hear that slip note, you know immediately. I mean, there's no mistaking it, and we've heard it in so many of our favorite songs. What are the steps that you took? I mean, how did you pick that up? Was that something intentional? I know you started playing when you were about 5, right?
Yeah, even before that, I've played as long as I can remember. Mom and Dad said as soon as I was tall enough to reach the keys, I was picking things out. And so as far as the slip note style, which you can hear a song and you know that it's Floyd Kramer on that record, I have never not played that way. Like, it's just always what I heard. It's always what I've known. And so even now, like, I can try to play, to really add that style into a song, but I really have a hard time taking it out of anything I play. In fact, I remember as a kid, I took piano lessons from when I was 5 years old for 7 or 8 years, and I went to a classical teacher when I was first starting out, which I soon learned was not my cup of tea. But as I was starting, I would get in trouble. I would be playing along, supposed to read music, and she'd have the piece of music in front of me, and I would be playing. And after a while, she would stop me and say, "Now, Jason, where are you on the page?" And I had no idea. I had no idea because I was just playing by what I sort of played by ear, and I would add those slip notes in. And so I soon switched piano teachers to a different teacher.
So, Jason, where did your granddad, Floyd Kramer, come up with the slip note? Was it kind of by accident that it happened? You go, "Oh, hey, I like the sound of that." Or did he ever share when he first started doing that?
Right. The story I've heard, actually, you started off here, this little segment with "Please Help Me, I'm Falling." That was the first song on which he played in the slip note style. And the story I've heard is that it came actually, Don Robertson was one of the songwriters and played the piano on the demo and had a similar kind of style. And Granddad sort of, played that famous intro and all those licks in "Please Help Me, I'm Falling" and really leaned into this style that he modeled it after. He said it was like the sound that a steel guitar or a fiddle would make, where you can bend a note on a string instrument like that.
Yeah.
Or he said it's like a Mother Maybelle Carter's auto harp, where it's almost two notes sort of glancing off of each other. And so the piano, you think of as more of a classical or jazz. It's not really like, you can't sit on a front porch and pick at your piano like you can a guitar or a banjo. But he made the piano sound like these country kind of instruments. And so from "Please Help Me, I'm Falling," that was Chet Atkins was producing the song, and he told Granddad after it was a huge hit, after "Please Help Me, I'm Falling" was a hit, that he ought to write a new song to showcase this slip note style. And so later that year in 1960, he wrote "Last Date," and then the rest was history.
You got any Hargus Pig Robbins stories? He passed a couple of days ago at the age of 84 and also in the Hall of Fame with your granddad.
Yeah, Pig, he and I only just crossed paths a handful of times. It's amazing to me just to hear the two of them during that time, especially the early 60s. I mean, they're on everything. Mm-hmm. You hear a song and it really was either Floyd Kramer or it was Pig Robbins. In fact, I still hear songs that I've thought for a long time was Granddad and it actually was Pig, or vice versa. The two of them were just right there for everything. And so I hated to hear that we lost Pig. He's still making music all the way here in through recent years. And so it's a huge loss. And it makes it more special for me as time has gone on now. It's been, 60 years, like 2 generations since Last Date and since this era of the Nashville sound. But people still love and remember these songs, whether they experienced them and heard them for the first time when they were released, or whether their parents or their families heard it. And so for me to get to do my part to carry on with this style and with these songs is what makes it special for me.
The Jason Coleman Show debuts Sunday night, 8 o'clock on WSM Radio and all over the world. You can get that on the app, of course, and WSMonline.com. Have you got a theme for week 1?
Week 1, Floyd Kramer and the Nashville sound. So we've got all the great songs from this the late 50s and early 60s that he was a part of. And every week we hit a different theme. So the next week will be 50s country. The third week of the show, it's all Willie Nelson songs that I'm playing on the piano. So we're going to have a lot of fun on WSM for sure for a lot of Sunday nights to come. And I couldn't be more excited.
We're going to let you play out with a Patsy Cline song this morning that people will recognize immediately. Crazy to the break. Jason Coleman, thank you so much. Congratulations on joining the family.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to our Coffee, Country, and Cody podcast. Our program director at WSM Radio is J. Patrick Tittle. Our digital producer is Haley Hall. Marketing and promotions director is Amanda Cannon. And I'm Charlie Matos. If you like what you've heard, make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode. And leave us a review on iTunes. It really does help new people find the show.